Carson Wentz is trending today. Apparently, the Eagles are already getting offers for the former number 2 pick in the draft, who was almost an MVP guy almost once. Should the Niners send the 12th pick in the draft to Philly for Carson Wentz or offer it?
Mav, you want to go ahead on this one? I'm looking at his contract numbers right now.
I absolutely would not trade for Carson Wentz. If I was John Lynch, if I was Kyle Shanahan, the only way I would even take Wentz is if I'm getting that first round Eagles pick in return and it's a Brock Osweiler style trade. I'm not taking Wentz on. That contract is ridiculous. I think he's guaranteed against the cap $30 million for the next 3 years. There is a potential out in 2022 that still leaves $24 million in dead cap. I don't think Wentz is great. I think he doesn't relate to the locker room well. I like Wentz when he's on another team, but look up the Mina Kimes podcast with Adam Lefkoe if you want Carson Wentz, and listen to when Lefkoe starts talking about Wentz, and you'll see why I'd rather stick with Garoppolo than Wentz.
Wait, Maverick, would you just tell us? Could we get the cliff notes, please?
Well, from what I recall, because I think it was when Jalen Hurts' first start, so I think that was week 15 or 16, whenever the Niners were playing Washington, whatever week that was. And Adam Lefkoe was talking about how that the Eagles players in the locker room didn't like Wentz because he loves to push his religion, which there's nothing wrong with that, but some people like talking about other stuff too. And I think a lot of players just didn't enjoy talking to him or being friends with him in the locker room. And as you see with Jimmy Garoppolo, sometimes it's important that the quarterback's liked in the locker room. It gets you a long way, and it keeps you from being cut outright right away in the offseason. And I think that's a big reason why Garoppolo's here, is because his teammates believe in him. And the teammates in Philly didn't necessarily believe in him. They liked Jalen Hurts. The team seemed revitalized for that Saints game when they put Hurts in. And I think that there's some issues there. And I just wouldn't want to take it on. Of course, it's not out 100% out there, but listen to that podcast because I probably butchered some fact about it. But I can tweet out the link later.
It always struck me as odd why they ran him out of Philly so quickly. There must have been something going on. That would explain a lot. What do you think, Nick?
Carson Wentz for the 12th overall pick? No, I'm not interested. There's very few players I'm willing to part with the 12th overall pick with that are available or may become available. Deshaun Watson's the only one. I wasn't interested in parting with that pick for Matthew Stafford. I'm not interested in parting with that pick for Carson Wentz, especially after the down year he had. Kyle Shanahan, could he fix Carson Wentz after the season he had last year? Maybe. But yeah, I just would rather rock out with Garoppolo and use that pick either for a rookie to back up Garoppolo for a year or trade up and pick up a quarterback that can lead your franchise for the next handful of years, then pick up Carson Wentz or trade for Carson Wentz.
Okay, yeah, I would definitely not trade a first-round pick for Carson Wentz. I'm with Maverick on this one. I would want a pick coming back. And yesterday I was on with Coach Johnston, and I said I would trade Jimmy Garoppolo for Carson Wentz straight up. But now the thing that you said about him not being liked, I didn't know. I don't cover the Eagles, and I was wondering what was going on. That seems to make sense. He seems like he was on his own, and the team was like rooting for Jalen Hurts to take over. Even though Jalen Hurts isn't that great, it's just almost to spite Carson Wentz. Yeah, so if he's a self-righteous guy who doesn't relate to teammates, maybe you don't want to bring him in. Also, I think the main point with Wentz, beyond the fact that he's not liked, it's also he's not that good. His quarterback rating was 72 last year. In 68 games in the NFL, he's committed 58 fumbles. That's not good. He might just be overrated, and he's not young. He's like 28. He's had injuries, and the worst thing about him is his contract. It's the worst contract. Is it the worst contract in the league? It's the worst contract in the league.
Jared Goff or Carson Wentz?
Probably. I mean, yeah. So no.
And I think that was a big reason why the Rams traded 2 first-round picks is to attach Goff to that deal. I mean, we'll never know for sure, but that was one of the And if you want to listen, it's the 1216 podcast with Lefkoe and Mina Kimes. It's on her podcast. It's from 1216. And
why would you take on that baggage?
Yeah.
All that money. The fact that he has the worst contract in the NFL, players don't seem to like him. And you know that a lot of players like Jimmy Garoppolo, so you're going to move off a locker room favorite for some guy that no one likes and has a terrible contract and fumbles once a game. Nah, probably not.
And arguably, why are the Eagles trying to trade him? It wasn't the whole reason Doug Peterson was fired was because they had to choose one or the other. And didn't we learn our lesson after Jim Tomsula and Jim Harbaugh is getting a little
Where's he going to go? Where's he going to go? Quick prediction. Where's Wentz going to end up? Indy?
If he is traded. I think he's on Philly next year, but if he is traded, Indy.
I got a dark horse.
But who is it?
Jets. Let me say why. Their GM, Joe Douglas, was with the Eagles from 16 to 19. So he knows Carson Wentz real well. He was one of the people that drafted Carson Wentz. He might want him. I'm not saying they give up the number 2 pick for that bum, but they might give up like a number 1 next year or something like that.
If the Eagles get a first-round pick for Wentz, I think that is arguably the weirdest trade I've seen in the NFL.
No, because they should be trading a second or a first to get rid of him.
It has to be, to me, Brock Osweiler style trades. The only way I could see him going. They attach a pick,
okay.
and they get a pick in return.